are part of that session. Erin was part of the last session. And of course, Erin, you can be part of this. Everyone can be part of any of the sessions. So please. So Mandie, what I'm going to do is, let me just put up what we're doing here, and then we'll get into the discussion. So this is what we're doing, forgiveness and mediation. But Mandie, you have to tell us about the conference, and then we'll get into your topic and about yourself. Yes, Mandie, about the conference.
I felt about the topic you mean?
No, conference.
Which means?
What is the conference about? When did it start? Have you been part of any of the sessions? That part.
Okay. I'm happy to be part of the circle the past 4 months. Okay. And I was very happy to talk about philosophy and languages and to listen to many beautiful minds and connect with them through the mediation circle. This is very beautiful because it's inspiring. It's something full of courage for us. I'm not very sure if it's something that reaches people, but for sure it inspires us so we can reach and connect people to this mindset, which is very beautiful. And I feel like we are a kind of family or a kind of a planet, a beautiful planet of mediators, an ocean, I don't know, something very large and very beautiful. So through these sessions I've been part of, I always was finding that forgiveness is something very, very important. And
you don't want me to talk about the conference. I just want to put out that it's up till 30th June. All the sessions are on YouTube. Just go to YouTube, search for Mediator Vikram. You'll find the channel. And of course, the schedule is there. It's on mediatorvikram.com also. I was going to ask Nina also to talk about the conference. So Nina, anything about the conference that you would want to tell us?
Well, you started the conference with one of my professors, one of my favorite professors, Ken Cloak. And so I was hooked immediately, as well as the fact that you stole the title that I wanted to have, Resolution Revolution. I got together with my with my friend, and we were trying to think of names that we wanted to call our service, and we came up with that, and it already was taken. So so good choice, you have good taste. And and for today's topic was my other favorite, I mean, I have many favorite professors, but Professor Robinson, Peter Robinson. I studied under him apology and forgiveness, and yes, hi Erin, I recognize my fellow colleague there. So one of his requests is to spread what we learned from him. And so I thought this would be a great platform and an opportunity to do that. So thank you very much, Vikram, for organizing this conference for everyone to learn and help us just make it that much better.
Thank you for participating in it. So Mandie, it's all yours now. Forgiveness and mediation.
Thank you very much for being for participating in my session, dear Nina and Irene. I hope Melanie will be soon with us also. I was saying that I feel that forgiveness is a very huge thing, such as a mediation, and it's a great space where, except of ourselves, we can bring others inside and expand ourselves. So I think it's part of the intention, it's part of the procedure, and it's part of the decision in the end. I think that all the stages of mediation have this need this mindset. So I have some slides to share, and for sure it's just a basis for our discussion. I would be very glad even to talk slide by slide if you feel like. So I think that's the gift. Forgiveness is the gift of mediation. I chose a yellow flower, a yellow rose, because, and especially rose, because yellow is supposed to be the color of the sunshine and light, which brings happiness. It's a color that gives the soul the happiness to change. And though roses have this, are painful if you touch them, they smell beautifully, they are beautiful. And I believe the reason that makes them very important flowers is that people are not afraid. When the old times were not going to buy a rose, but they were cutting the rose from the flower, they were taking the risk to have a trauma, a pain or something, just to offer a gift to somebody. That's what mediation, I believe, is. It's something risky, but very generous and very beautiful, which brings beauty in lives, especially to the person that forgives.
So Mandie, how do you want to go about it? You want to get Nina in on each slide?
Yes, I said I find interesting to talk slide by slide.
But Nina, did you have some slide that you wanted to show, or this is okay?
No, this is fine. I don't have slides to show.
Okay,
no.
perfect. So anything that you want to go slide by slide, we can do that. So
okay,
something general that you want to give us, Nina, on forgiveness?
Well, you know, I loved her use of the word gift, because the word forgiveness comes from perdonare, which is to give, you know, from the root of this. So it's a gift not only to the other person, but to yourself, you know, and we'll get to that a little later, but yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and it's part of the etymology. And forgiveness, it's forgive, so it's part of the etymology. It is a gift, yes. So how do I go to my next slide? Could you help me on that?
You want to send that to me? I can do it here if you want. Because what you've done is it have you made a slideshow, or is it just a PDF? It is a slideshow. Just send it to me, send it here only, or you can send it some other way. I'll do it.
Okay. Always challenging.
Okay, so what we'll do is let
talk
Nina
about me. Talk about the challenge.
What you do is send the slides after that.
Me.
I'm shutting the share screen. You can have a look. After that, Nina is going to give us a little introduction onto forgiveness. Yes, Nina.
Okay.
You want to? Mandie's just looking for either she's going to send it to me, or she's going to find some way to get to the other slides. So Nina, something, a brief.
So, you know, I was thinking about for today, because you could speak months on forgiveness, obviously, and it seemed that you want it more focused for mediators, or how mediators could maybe use it in a session. So, you know, I'm happy to speak about just forgiveness in general first, and then how it could be encouraged in others, if that sounds like a good idea to you.
Perfect.
You know, so as mediators, you know, we have to look at what we think is what we view as success. You know, like some will say, well, if we've settled our, you know, out of court case, we're successful. And that's perhaps the easy way, meaning more that's what a lot of attorneys are hoping for. But as mediators, you know, we have a different sort of hope. You know, many times we think we are successful if we can just get the parties to communicate with each other and even plant a seed. And so whatever level of conflict that they'll come in, you know, we have different techniques that we will use to solve that conflict. You know, the first one obviously is the physical one, that's just separating the two, like they're in a sandbox. So that's your physical way of doing it. The second is to bring them back and have this conversation. And that's more the mental side of it, to try and see, well, what is the issue? You're fighting over a ball. Okay, you get the ball 5 minutes, you get the ball, 10 minutes. But, the next day they're just going to fight over it again. So we go one more level, higher, and we'll get to the emotional level to say, well, where is this coming from? Why are you fighting over this? Oh, it's because mom gave it to you and you think mom is a favorite person. Okay, so let's get to that level. And, at each level of solving this conflict, we would find, okay, we've been successful, we've done something, but the higher we can go, the better. And so that's where we get to the next level, which is forgiveness. And that's more spiritual. And that's sort of something saying, well, it's not our role as mediator to put this on the person and say, well, for you to be truly happy, not for yourself and for the others, you need to forgive. Because that won't be happen. Just the word forgiveness will already create a barrier in someone. Already they'll be like, no, I'm not there yet. I'm not ready to forgive. It wouldn't be fair. I can't do that. So it might be more helpful to think of, well, what are the elements of forgiveness? And so this is where I would just define it and say, when we speak about forgiveness, not using the word, what do we mean? So, what we have learned is we can look at it in 3 elements. The first is the animus, and that is how much harm or well do we wish this person? So, okay, this person hit my car. What do I wish? Do I wish that this person's car gets hit too? Do I wish that they are harmed? Do I wish that? No, I don't wish them harm. I wish, this is something to discuss with the person. The second part of forgiveness would be reparation. Okay, you've hit my car. What are you going to do? Can you fix it? Can you make it better? Do I want you to even try and repair this relationship? What do you want to do? And the third is what I've just said, is the relationship, trust. Have I lost trust in you? And can I get it better? And so it becomes this sort of Rubik's Cube to say, like, from a scale of 1 to 10, how much harm do you wish them, or how much do you wish them well? Can they fix this? Can they not fix this? Can you rebuild this trust in this relationship or not? And I think when you start this conversation with someone in a mediation, not under the topic of forgiveness, but just on the topic of seeing what their needs are, you might get to that place where they themselves will realize, well, you see, actually, I don't want them to have a sort of harm. I have this pain, but I don't want them to, sort of have that kind of conversation on what the nature and the elements of forgiveness are. So that's where I would start, and then we can get into what the different kinds of forgiveness are in going. So I don't know, Mandie, what your thoughts are.
I agree very much with you, dear Nina. Actually, I had a sense that it's a step before, in my opinion. This first step, which is that somebody, and it's in my first slide, which is, if I can't open the slides, Vikram, I was thinking to just have all them open.
Yeah.
Why not?
Do that, yeah.
The first and last step.
Yeah. Okay, otherwise, if you want, you can just send it to me while you're talking. I'll open it here and
I sent you, but I can. Do I share it at this moment?
Yeah, please.
Yeah. Is it all the slides in front of you?
I'll open it. I'm opening the mail. But you can open that one slide, and up till then I'll get to the others. Because we are on a clockwork kind of thing. We have to get to the next. So
sorry, because
if you're not going to get into it, who my best friend is going to be, Mr. Chat. Oh, no gender. ChatGPT is going to come in. So, so you have to move fast.
No, I just wonder why before I found it when I pressed the share screen, and now I don't.
No problem. Okay, we'll take our time. What we'll do is let's see what ChatGPT has to say about it. There's no harm. Okay, let's. Why it's important, Nina, why I put it up there is because we have to see whether it covers everything or not. This way we'll also get to know.
So,
are you ready?
Haven't you received? Could you please check your email?
Yeah, I've got it. You want me to open it? I'll open it here. Okay, the two of them. You guys send me two documents.
Yes.
Both of them the same?
They are same.
Okay.
This is a time to say, please forgive me for this difficulty. This is a time that it's nice to get out of our abilities and be able to realize that we all don't have the same abilities, and to open to the moment, which may give chances to find another way.
Yes.
I was saying that I believe the first step and the last step include the forgiveness. So the first step, the intention, and the last step of the decision. Both are stages, space, where forgiveness is very, very important.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a school of thought that says, is forgiveness a decision or is it a process? Obviously it's a little bit of both. There comes a time when the person actually reaches that point where they make that decision and say, you know what, I just don't want to do this anymore. I can't live with this pain anymore. I think about it all the time when I'm driving to work, when I'm sipping my cup of coffee, I'm thinking about how this person wronged me. And it's taking up so much space in my mind that I'm not enjoying dinner with my family, or I'm not enjoying time that could be better spent doing things that are good for me. I just want to get it out of my head. And they make that decision, but then there's that process. Well, how do I do that? How could I possibly forget or forgive this person? And there is that process, and it's hard work. And here's the irony, we tend not to want to forgive because we think it's such hard work and it's so hard. And yet it's the one thing that can be done by anyone, and it's over quickly. Once you reach that place where you can let go and release and forgive, it's over. But the whole other choices you have three choices, and you're a mediator, you can give people options. That's what we do. We just sit there and say, this is your decision. Here are your options. I'm going to let you decide. But in a way, we're kind of guiding them along with these options. And you can say to them, look, here are your three choices. You can stew and you can sulk and you can go over in your mind everything that's been done wrong with you, and you can think about, how unfair this was and how unjust it was. And, why on earth would you forgive this person, whatever. You can do that. And that's going to sap all your energy. And as I said, it's going to take up that wonderful space in your mind that could be better used for the people that you love, or the things that you really want to do, or things that you can do in a positive way to take this harm that was done to you and do something good with you. That's number one. Number two is you can get revenge, and there's a school of thought of saying like, well, with revenge, it's sort of like saying, I felt this pain. I want you to feel the same pain, and I'm going to get respect for it, because people will respect me and think like, okay, something was done to her. Here's what she did. Don't you dare do this again, because this is what's going to happen to you, like a form of, I don't know, I'm Italian, so I'm going to go with the whole Godfather route, but just like, like, don't you dare do that again. I'm having a form of self-respect. But what happens is that I'm no longer the victim. I become the perpetrator. And so then I have to live with that. So you did this to me, I did it to you. What happens? It's never ending. It becomes a feud, So that's not going to work either. So you can stew and sulk, you can get revenge. Both of these don't really work in the long run. Or you can forgive, and you offer these three options to the person in front of you, and that's just the seed you plant. And then they can decide, okay, well, yeah, the first two don't sound very attractive. Do I really want to do that to myself? No, okay, forgive. Now help me. How do I forgive? And there is, if we as mediators can become fluent in the different ways of helping the person in front of it. It doesn't have to be our clients. It can be our best friend. It can be a family member. It can be anyone who's just asking help, to forgive. With their permission, we can take them through those different ways of doing it. I don't know how I got to this place, but anyway.
But the only thing, Nina, what has happened is that we should have started with apology. That's the session that you should have fixed. And then we should have reached forgiveness.
Yes. I mean, it is true that it can be a part of it, but it doesn't have to be. You might not get that apology from someone. You just might not ever. And the person might not even be around anymore. And then we were talking about trauma beforehand, then you're going to just live with this your whole life. And you think like, oh God, this happened to me. The person's not even sorry about it. That makes it worse. So you have to be able to learn how, and this is where I get into the different kinds of forgiveness, how to be able to forgive, even if you don't have the other person's
apology,
repentance or regret. You don't necessarily, it will help, obviously, for your own sake, but you don't really need it if you're going to do this for yourself.
So has Peter Robinson written about this? Apology without what? Forgiveness without apology?
He has a whole book. He has a whole, where do I have it? I have it right here. See, Peter Robinson, if you ever watch this, I'm plugging your book. Here you go. So he's written this book. Erin has probably read it. Apology, Forgiveness, and Reconciliation.
I have it too. It's a great book.
Yes. But as you've experienced, Erin, completely different finals, different topics.
Of course, this great, huge topic has forgiveness in many directions, because first of all, we may have to forgive ourselves for making the mistake to trust, making the mistake to give space or to not have borders, or I don't know what, but forgiveness is the decision. That's the first step. I would like to put the slide on, if you could please,
yes,
for me, Vikram.
Yes, absolutely. That's what I do. That's what my expertise is on.
Thank you. This is a decision we have to the intention, which is in my language, prophecies. I mean, before I put my position, thesis, I have an intention. And what is the intention? The step before the procedure of mediation and decision is to decide if I'm ready, if I'm willing, if I'm open to move from my position, to hear the other person, to understand the truth of the other person, to open myself and to discuss and to give myself the possibility to change, because this is a very positive procedure for every person, for himself. We've learned from childhood to be humiliated when we have to ask somebody to forgive us. It was go and say, I'm sorry. It was a humiliation, which is to make the other person smaller, to look at the other guy and say, please, please, to humiliate yourself. But instead of that, the healthy forgiveness is a procedure that we grow. We have so much space, not only for us, for everybody, to open our heart and to become bigger, so we can have space in us to put and others in it, their truth, their opinion, and it's also the curiosity and the willingness to change, to become better, to think that maybe I'm wrong. Let's see what the other person has to do. It's something so simple, not hard at all. Hard is to humiliate yourself and to be a slave in your right, in your small position, your small opinion. Otherwise, you can forgive and enlarge yourself. I believe that it is very, the marketing is very wrong. It becomes something very difficult, though it is much, much easier.
So what I'm suggesting is that you have lots of slides, and we'll have to start the next session in the next 30 minutes. So what we can do is we can go through the slides and then elaborate on them if we have time.
Yes, please.
Yeah, because otherwise because I see a lot of nice slides there, but if we can't cover them, then won't be so nice.
Yeah. I go straight to the last step, which is the decision. It is the decision that you are, how you want to resolve a problem, to end a bad situation, and to free yourself from a problem. So please, the next one. Do you want me to?
Yeah, let's just ask Nina if she has something to say there. Yes, Nina, anything here?
I think maybe we can go on with more slides. I think then it'll be more helpful than to have a discussion about.
Yes, we can do that.
Yeah.
This last step, I believe it's a decision to let go for the past, to take the decision to look forward and to go to the future, from the problem to better other chances. And this is, I believe, this point between past and future is the procedure, and the mediator is the safe space, the safe bridge to pass from past to future.
Where is the mediator gone? Mediator is missing, gone for a break or something.
Please, forward.
Quite a jump, Mandie. How is the person going to jump from that? Where is the bridge? There is no bridge there.
There is the bridge. This, I say two words for the last step, and then there comes the middle step, the middle procedure. The last step, even if we know, even if we don't, is to forgive. And we realize that it is a free space, and to restart and to reboost ourselves. This is a part of forgiveness, and this is a part of the decision and the resolution. So I think the next one is about the middle steps, which is the mediation, which is the bridge, which even if it's cloudy and we don't know what is going on around, there is a procedure and a person which is safe, person and the procedure that we trust, with all these principles that cover mediation and the mediator's role. And it's the safe path, from the past to the future. And from the fear to the reality, because fear is in the mind, and reality most of the times has nothing to do with most of the fears that we have for reality. 98% of the things that we are afraid of never happen. Reality is much, much safer than what our mind is telling us. So if we knew how less was the fear, it would be much, much easier to forgive ourselves and the others. And Mediator, I believe, is this safe bridge who could help people pass from past to future.
At any point, Nina, if you want to come in, just put your hand there. I can see your hand if you just do that, because look, the format is that it's Mandie's topic, so she gets to present.
I'm listening.
And you put your name up, so you get a chance. Erin did not put her name up, so she comes in right in the end if there is time. So that's the format. Simple format, nothing much there.
I believe that one other image that is helping to realize the mediation is that if we forgive, we give our eyes, ourselves, the chance to see all the colors between black and white, which is the judge system, right and wrong. It's my fault or your fault. It's you, the bad guy, or me. It's I'm the good, you're the bad. All these black and white things that don't give space for forgiveness. But the colors, if we are willing to see the colors of the truths and the colors of each person, each mind, each soul, then we give the chance to ourselves to see all the colors and not to be blind, because I believe that if we see everything black and white, we have a very boring way of looking things in life and ourselves. And this is less happiness, less beauty. So if we have open eyes and open ears, we can forgive, because we can receive the colors and the melody of the other person. And that's so beautiful if we dare to do it. And Mediator, with all this reframe and all this, the way that we transfer and translate all this information and all these positions which are in the gray zone, we can make much, much more interesting for people to come closer and forgive than to stay in hate. But about that, it's Nelson Mandela I'm going to talk about. That's the most beautiful bridge I found. So this is something that connects the example of the bridge and the example of the colors. This is a very beautiful bridge of colors. This is mediation for me. This is my picture from now on. This is a way to paint life, to have a new beautiful frame, colorful and peaceful, to find balance and beauty and hope and love. So I decided to give most of my focus on Mandela. That was.
Yeah, Mandie, what I would say is we'll do our living room protocol. Nazish is coming in. We'll just say hi to her when she drops in. That's our living room protocol. You know that protocol. When she's ready that time. Okay. Yeah, perfect. No problem. If she's there, he'll come in. Yeah, Nelson Mandela thing you were saying?
I was saying that yesterday was his birthday.
Yesterday? 18th of July.
Yesterday?
18th of July. July.
Yes.
July.
July. Okay,
yeah.
Okay. It's okay. It could be yesterday, June. So it's okay. I will use it anyway because it's very important. That would be an inspiration, but doesn't change the reason I have Mandela here. He is a person who has suffered from hate and the very tough kind of justice, but he was the person also after this unfair punishment to forgive and to be the symbol of peace. That day, the 18th of July, which would be very great to have something for this beautiful day.
They're already celebrating it. What we're doing is 19th of July, we are celebrating Peacemakers Day because that is the birthday of someone else.
Okay. So, it could be midnight from 18th to 19th. So it's for Nelson also.
Okay. But
so this is a day, this is a national day to honor the promotion and quality of peace, of forgiveness and human rights, harmony with nature and dignity for all. This is all the forgiveness idea. And Nelson Mandela was, what I was saying, was a person that came out of jail and passed the last period of his life helping people to put hate out of the frame of life and to convince them that forgiveness liberates the soul, removes fear, and that's why it's such a powerful weapon. I mean, this is something, the power that everybody is looking for, power and value. And forgiveness is a weapon, is a tool, is a bridge, is everything that any kind of mindset, of people's mindset, can find a reason, even if it's a logical reason or a sensitive reason, to find forgiveness as something important and beautiful or useful.
Perfect. But Nazish, you can put your video on, say hi to everyone, and then you can participate if you want.
Hi.
Hello.
So of course,
Hi,
her session is the next one, but you can
Hi,
participate
Fatima.
in this one, but you
Hi.
get a chance only in the end. Okay.
Sure.
Hi, welcome.
We are talking about forgiveness.
Yes.
Some
So-
things about
What's that?
colors, bridges, and all these things. And now we are talking about Nelson Mandela as a symbol of forgiveness.
And the Nazish, the concept is that you're in my living room, so you can't go invisible. Okay, you don't have the Harry Potter cloak that you can go invisible, so you have to be there.
All
So
right.
Mandie, I'd love to elaborate on what you just were talking about, because I think it's a very important and powerful part of forgiveness. You know, there are levels of hurt that people have suffered that they will come to you, and it can be anyone, your friends or your family or just your neighbor or just someone, you know, you meet. They say to you, nations, you know, they just say, this has just gone too far. How can I forgive someone who has killed my whole family? You know, I'm going through it. I've gone through this horrible genocide, and it was us versus them. And we've heard this topic over and over again, you know, how you can make perfectly normal people do horrendous things because whoever the leader was at the time was saying they are the bad people, they are evil, they are the devil, whatever. We need to protect ourselves from them, you know, and it's this mindset that you are able to hate this person. Well, exactly. I'm going to sound like, you know, I'm going to sound like Star Wars, you know, whatever, ignorance leads to fear, fear leads to hate, hate leads to the dark side, you know, and it's sort of like, yes, of course, this development of hate will enable you to easily hurt the other person because they are no longer human. They are dogs. They are just, you've dehumanized them, so you're able to hurt them. So how can you ask that other person to forgive that other person who's just killed their whole family? How can you? And they're just like, it's just too much. And I think this is a very important part of forgiveness, where you can get to a state of saying, yes, you have this pain, you have this hurt, and I'm not taking that away from you. You have lost, and you have to go through that whole grieving process. We know those, whatever, 5 steps of, you know, of grieving. And so the anger is going to be healthy. But what do you want to do with that hurt now? Do you want to hurt back? Or do you want to do something good with this? Do you want to rebuild the homes? Do you want to teach so that this doesn't happen again? And that is actually the highest level of conflict resolution, if you can have prevention. You know, you have your forgiveness, you have reconciliation when both parties can somehow come to that place with each other, very high level. But if you can actually prevent it, that is the highest level. You know, and so if you can sort of get them to that place where they understand that, and this is a great saying that I love, hurt people hurt people. If you can get that understanding that this person who has hurt you, this person is the perpetrator and you're the victim. But what if you thought about the fact that that person is also the victim? If you can get to that place that, yes, this man has been hitting his wife for so long, what happened to this person beforehand? And you're expanding your time. Was this person also hit? Would that help you better understand how that person was able to do what they did? Put yourself in the place of saying, maybe they're the victim as well. And would that increase the compassion in you so that you can get to that place to say like, okay, you know, it may be that they ask for forgiveness or that they apologize or not, and put you in that place and saying, okay, I have compassion for this person. I won't forget what happened to me, obviously not. And I wouldn't ask that person to do that, you know, but what do you want to do with that hurt? And how can you understand the person who hurt you so that you would be in a better place to prevent it in the future for others? And that is for me, the highest level of what we can do, you know? So, you know, as mediators, you probably will never get someone in session to say like, yes, I'm ready to forgive. You can plant that seed, but it would be rare that they would be ready in that state of mind, especially if you just put it out there. But eventually, when you give them the options of what they have to look forward to, that they're just harming themselves in the end, you know, you would say to them, and this is, I'm going to borrow this from Ken Cloak. He gave a quote from Thoreau, and he said, what is the price what is the price of anything that you're willing to pay with your life? And I'm sure I didn't say it completely, but just meaning more like for you to hold on to this conflict, what is the price of your life you're willing to give for that? So if you can think of yourself as saying, yeah, I can hold on to this pain and this hurt and my desire for revenge or whatever it is, but I'm just taking my own life away from me. Or, and this is a little bit of positive psychology, can I take this hurt and do something good with it now? Because it'll make me feel better if I can do something positive with it. If I was abused, maybe now I can help other women who are in the same position as me. If it's in a sense of, okay, this person killed my whole family, maybe I can help rebuild homes for the homes. These are just ideas that I said to help. You know, it's yes, great to say you need to forgive, but we need to give tools to the person on how they can forgive, how they can get to that place in their mind, because it's just so difficult to say, how could I possibly forgive the person who killed my son? You know, and what are the things we can give them, the tools we can give them to help them to get to that space. And so there are different
but Nina, you can't do this to Mandie. You can't do this to Mandie.
Sorry?
Mandie, you cannot keep Mandie quiet for so long. Mandie,
sorry.
Yes, you know there is a certain
I'm
time
so
period.
I apologize. I apologize. I will be quiet.
You can't do that to Mandie.
I apologize.
Please forgive me. I forgive.
Please forgive me.
Please
But
forgive.
thing with that, she's got so many
say,
slides.
Oh no. Okay, we will pass it.
I just thought this was so powerful that I just thought like this is such a it's almost the ultimate forgiveness, right?
No, Mandie means well. It's just that she wants to say so much and she doesn't. Sometimes she wants it out there. So perfectly all right. Mandie, yes, Mandie, we were saying something.
It's okay, but I wanted to say that it is the future. What you said, dear Nina, is very beautiful, but not only the logical procedure. The people who carry this anger and pain carry something very, very heavy. And only at that moment, just to help them take that heavy thing from their back and put it down and have awareness, as Erin said, with the traumas, and stay there, look at it, take a distance, works by itself, and they realize that they don't want to keep on for the whole of their lives carrying this huge rock. They can put the rock down and make a sculpture, and I don't know what. But maybe we will have the chance at the end to come back, because Nelson.
We can do part 2 also, Mandie. There's no problem.
Yes,
we can do part 2 of your session.
Yes.
We will get you. Everything will be out there. Whatever you've prepared, we will definitely make you go through it. You don't worry about that. You've done so much.
I have much more and didn't know what to select.
We'll keep one day for you. We'll keep one day only Mandie sessions, nothing else. Will be just Mandie, the topic. Yeah, Mandie. Anything else?
How many hours? How many hours this
the
day?
Whole day, 24 hours, 24/7. Anything here? You want me to move forward or what? Because I want you to complete your slides. You went through so much effort.
I want to take words from this special lips and mind and soul of this person who, please, can I read what he said in the previous? It encourages people, do not fear forgiving for the sake of peace. But I want to take these words, this courage, which is very important, and fear. Fear makes people have fear to forgive. And it is indeed, it needs courage to realize that the fear is much more dangerous and much more difficult than just to forgive and understand the other person. Because peace is what everybody wants, peace and love. This person is talking, who spent all his life in prison, is talking about the prison of hate. So this is something to realize when somebody has passed all his life in prison, most of his life in prison, and he says that as I walked out of the door towards the gate that would lead me to my freedom, I knew if I didn't leave my bitterness and hatred behind, I'll still be in prison. And this is something very, very strong, a message, a very, very strong message of this mindset of hate. It is a prison. And forgiveness is, of course, is a freedom. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the triumph over the fear. And because in mediation we're looking for value, it is, you know, it is the person of Nelson in money, and that value, the forgiveness, and Nelson is a value, and all his values are value. That's what I want to see, that it is not only a logical reason, but it is even for people that only value things. This person proves that it is value, the value of forgiveness, compassion, and peace. This is an Indian, isn't she?
Yes, she was the minister. Now she's passed away.
Could you please help me with her name? Sushma
Swaraj. Sushma Swaraj.
Yeah, she was telling about Nelson Mandela as a global citizen, and this value of forgiveness, compassion, and peace, which is the great values of mediation also, are the values Mandela is the symbol for these values.
So are you going to sing this song now, Mandie? Are you going to sing for
us?
So
yes, I chose two songs, Elton John's and Tracy Chapman's, and there is a small mantra we could say together at the end about forgiveness. This beautiful song also speaks about this difficulty to say I'm sorry, and how hard it seems sometimes to say this word, and how sad it is.
So are you going to sing for us or not? What is the plan? You just want us to read this?
No, we could we play YouTube?
No, you can't. That YouTube, that becomes a copyright issue. You can't.
No, the part 2 will be with my cello and music.
I was just going to ask that. Yeah.
Okay, I will. And Tracy Chapman also has a very beautiful song. The next.
You don't want to go through the lyrics or something right now?
I said it, how sad. Sorry seems to be the hardest word, and it's sad, so sad. A sad situation. And it says that why can't we talk it over? What mediation is.
But Mandie, we have to give Nina a chance to sing it also. Nina, if you want to, we're okay with
it.
Yeah.
We will make, remember, we could make a song. And you remember, like that time, they all were singing for peace, for all this beautiful. We can make it something like
we don't have to make it. We just have to ask ChatGPT. ChatGPT will make the song in the next 5 seconds. We'll ask it to do it. Not a problem.
If I need help,
we'll do that. I'll do that. Because you made me do the slideshow. I would have done all those things. Now I have to do the slideshow for you. Otherwise, I would have had the song for you right now.
This forgive me, words don't come easily. That the same thing that Elton John's song says. Words don't come easily, like forgive me, and I love you, I love you. This is something that in a very beautiful melody is also sung and gives this difficulty we've grown up with to find difficult to say such things, such beautiful and simple words. And I end with this Ho'oponopono mantra mediation. Ho'oponopono is it comes from Hawaii. It's a very powerful mantra, and they try to help heal traumas. The words they use is I'm sorry, forgive me, I love you, thank you, or I love you, please forgive me. Thanks. Many ways to say that. Ho'oponopono means I correct towards the right thing, and this is something we can do by loving first of all ourselves, forgiving first of all ourselves, letting ourselves feel sorry and be grateful and thank for all the good things. This is also a very beautiful mantra we can sing the next part 2. It is huge. I want to have, so I chose some few of them to share, and I would be very great to have a part 2 to be 2 hours, please.
Okay. Now look at what Nina's going through. Nina's got
and
holding her head now. She's
much.
Nina, you can't do
very
that.
Much to listen to.
Not at all. No. No, my coffee machine wasn't working this morning. I'm just.
It's not early for you.
Very early where I am, so yeah. Well, not for me, anyway.
So okay, so now this is your chance.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Mandie.
Thank you. I love you. Thank you. I forgive you.
So Nina, anything that you want to kind of wrap it up on?
Yes, I would like very much to listen to your thoughts after this.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure what topic would you like more info on. I don't know. I mean, we talked about self-forgiveness.
Anything. I give some basis and we
and then you'll come in. You'll come in. You definitely come in. That's why I'm asking them to wrap up so that you have a chance to come in.
I think, we've touched on the fact that, we can talk about how forgiveness is therapeutic, and that, it is going to help you heal with your pain. You will work through that. A lot of people in their religions are told to forgive. And so sometimes, you can just release that burden from yourself to have to forgive and just leave it to God or to the government. Just say, like, I'm not going to even deal with this. God created you. He can deal with it. It's not on me to forgive you. I didn't create you. I'm dealing with my own things. I leave your punishment or reward, whatever, to the person who gave it. So that's called redemptive. So it's just meaning more like, I can just release that whole burden of saying, okay, what you did to me, you'll deal with it in the next life, And then, there's
you'll be forgiven one day after you die.
And it's just kind of like, I don't even have to deal with the question of, do I forgive you or do I not? It's just not up to me. That's just my religion tells me I have to forgive you. And this is the funny thing, every Sunday in Mass, I will ask the Lord to forgive me as I forgive those who trespass against me. So if I'm not willing to forgive this person, oh my God, God is never going to forgive me. So it's kind of like, if I want to go to heaven, I better forgive. It's sort of like you can make these little deals with yourself, right? So depending on how strong your faith is, you can also use that as, and that's all I'm saying. It depends on the person you have before you, whether it's your client or your friend or a family member, and you're going to know a little bit more about the relationship and whether or not they're actually asking you for your help in doing this, because if they're not there yet, it's not the right time. It may take a long time for them to grieve their loss, and the loss can be anything. It's not just property, or it can be the trust that they lost, or the relationship. You cheated on me, so I lost that, and I'm going to grieve that. So a person has to be ready for that. But you might also want to forgive for a relationship. It's sort of like, I value my relationship more than I value the harm that was done to me, and if you can place a bigger value on your relationship, then you're motivated to do that. If I were to say to you, hey, if you don't forgive this person, you're not going to have, whatever anymore. You won't have a job anymore. Or you won't have the ability to get another job. It might be a no-brainer. Then you're like, yeah, okay, I get it. I need to forgive, because otherwise I'm out of a job, or I'm out of a relationship, or, you could have that motivation. And when you realize you have a choice, you do have a choice over your emotions, and you have control over your emotions, then it becomes a little less of a huge mountain to climb, then it's not so hard anymore. He's like, yeah, I can make this decision. I can make this choice. And here's how I can do it. And if we can become fluent in ways to help whoever's asking us for help to find that forgiveness through these, different suggestions that I made, great. As far as self-forgiveness goes, it's a little bit different in that, I liked what Peter Robinson said, that if we forgive ourselves, but we don't forgive others, it's sort of creepy, because it's sort of like saying, I'm going to forgive what I did wrong, but I'm not going to forgive you. And that is not really the point of self-forgiveness. Self-forgiveness, of course, is to better ourselves, but that's more if someone has apologized to us, and we're not in a place to forgive them yet, but we'll forgive ourselves. It's this imbalance. And so sometimes it's helpful to separate the sin from the sinner, and if we can say to ourselves, I am not my wrongdoing, this is me, this is myself. And here's what I did. I lied, or I cheated, or I did something. This was my bad act. And I am going to now be both the victim and the perpetrator. So I will almost forgive myself in the sense of what that part did. It's sort of like having my aspirational self and my actual self. This is who I want to be, but this is who I am now. So I will forgive myself for not being that person that I want to be, and I will be better. So I'm almost apologizing to myself. Does that make sense? It's like saying, I'm very sorry, Nina, you messed up. You did this bad act. You hereby promise to make reparations to that person, and you will never do it again. Will you ask forgiveness from yourself? It's sort of like I'm being both actors.
This is not forgiveness. This is not forgiveness. Forgiveness is to accept and understand no matter what, and to take the responsibility of yourself, of your life, and not looking for other people to blame for things. You take the lesson, you go on.
Perfect. Well, what we have to, we have to let Erin come in, because we have a minute, and then Nazish's session starts.
Nazish,
first, Erin had to come in for a minute.
I just wanted to. One of the biggest things I learned about forgiveness and apology was that people really want to care. And they're on this extreme. There's the two extremes. You have care and you have hate, right? And so I love you so much and I hate you so much. And when you're in a relationship, the more you love and the more you open yourself up, the stronger your reaction is going to be on the other end when something goes wrong. So I feel like forgiveness is right there in that middle point that's able to bring people back closer to the higher level of love and away from the hate, with the reminders of why we fell in love in the first place, or why we, have these happy feelings up here and we're trying to reach those happy feelings, and how these feelings are not going to help us. But I love what you guys are saying. And Peter Robinson's forgiveness was absolutely amazing, and the steps to get there so that people can come to the conclusion of we need to see eye to eye in this spot. But that visual for me of having two separate ends of extreme love on one end and extreme hate on the other. And the more you open yourself up to that, the more you're going to feel these extreme feelings on the bottom. That really helped me understand where people come from.
And isn't it, Irene, isn't it the forgiveness helping to overcome the traumas?
Yeah.
Definitely, Mandy. What I've understood from this is I have to have a symposium on apology and forgiveness, and we'll ask Peter Robinson to come in and give the keynote for that. So let's do that, because here I'd seen there's lots to talk about. But Nina, there is Laura. I put a comment there, but please help connect with Laura, because she speaks Italian and she's not comfortable with English. And I've told her to participate. She fixed up a session and then she had cold feet and she moved out. There's something called the Medianis method that she wanted to talk about. But what she's saying is it's the story of the camel and dromedary who each argued that he is the right one because he has one hump and the other two humps. It's the ability to accept the different. It's not about being right or wrong, but listening and accepting also the point of view of the other. That's her comment. So Laura, please connect with Nina and please participate. So thank you very much. And it was obviously a pleasure.
Thank you.
And a few people can definitely stay for the next session. Totally your wish. I have to shut this and start that. And Nazish's session is 1 minute late.
Oh, I'd love to have you all in the session.
But Nazish, what you have to do is before we end this session, you can introduce yourself. So your introduction is part of this session also. Yes, Nazish. I should have got you in earlier, but yeah.
No, it's absolutely fine. So hello, everyone. I'm Nazish. I'm currently an assistant professor of law, but previously I was also practicing as a lawyer. And I represented this organization which worked with children. Basically, it worked on juvenile justice. And we basically worked on human trafficking cases where the children were rescued from the cases of human trafficking. But then eventually I realized that, okay, let's join the academia, right? And then be a law mom and have the law babies. So yeah. That's the thing here.
Okay. But Nazish, now you have to be creative because next session you have to introduce yourself again and you can't say the same thing.